వాళ్ళు కూడా ఇదే మాట అన్నారు. నువ్వు ఇప్పుడు So in today's class, we are going to discuss about the closure properties of regular languages. See, already we discussed in our previous sessions also. So the regular languages are nothing but the languages which was accepted or which was recognized by the finite automata. So that finite automata can be a DFA, or it can be an NFA, or it can be a non-deterministic finite automata with epsilon transitions. See, all these three are the different automatas which we used earlier in order to detect these regular languages. Now, in our today's class, we are mainly concentrating on the closure properties of the regular languages. So here we should know what is the closure property is. What is the closure property is. Now let me explain what actually the closure property means. So let us observe that, let us assume that we have two languages or regular languages R and S. Okay, so please try to understand. We have two languages, regular languages R and S. When we have two different languages, regular languages R and S, now in between these two languages, now what I do, I am going to apply some operator in between these two languages. When I apply some operator in between these two languages, the language which I am going to get as a result of applying the operator, it is also a regular language. Okay, so please try to understand. So but actually this closure property says that, so individually we know that so this R and as well as S, so these are the two different regular languages. These two are already individually, these two are regular languages. Okay, so individually these two are regular languages. Now what actually I am doing is, in between these two languages, now I am going to apply some operator. Now once I apply some operator in between these two languages, now I am going to get a new language. Because of applying some operator, now I am going to get a new language. So just because of this, it will result in some new language. Now whatever the new language which I am going to get as a result of applying the operator in between these two languages, it is also going to be a regular language. Okay, so this is what actually we mean by the closure properties are. Okay, so now you know that as we are all from the programming background, we have two different types of operators. So what are the two types of operators? The first one is we have a unary operator, and the second one is we have a binary operator, right? So in the same manner here also, so when we can go for making use of this binary operator, this binary operator can be used only when we have two operands. So then only we are going to make use of this binary operator. And in the same manner, when we are going to use the unary operator, this unary operator will be used when we are going to have only one operand available. Then only we are going to make use of this unary operator. So the best example for this is from the programming perspective, we can say that, so pre-increment operator like plus plus, increment or decrement operators plus plus or minus minus. So these are the best examples for unary operators. When you go for binary operator, whatever the arithmetic operators are there, like plus, minus, division, star, modular division. All these are best examples for binary operators. Now what we should know over here is, now what are the various operators that we can use, or what are the various operations that we can perform in between these two regular languages, so that the result of applying these two, the result of applying the corresponding operation between these two languages is also going to become a regular language. Okay, so there are totally we are going to have 9 different types of operations. Okay, so what are the 9 operations are? First one, union operation. Union operation, what do you mean by that? For example, let R be a something like L of R be a regular language, and L of S is also a regular language. Then the union means, how do you represent this? L of R plus L of S is also a regular language. Okay, now this is the first operation. Then the second one is intersection. The second one is intersection. The intersection operation. So how do you represent this intersection operation? So here we are going to make use of L of R intersection L of S. L of S. So let me write intersection here. L of R intersection L of S. So this is also a regular language. In the same manner, we are going to have the other operations also. The third one is complement. Complement is also regular language. Then the fourth one is star operation. Star operation in the sense clean closure. We know about it, clean closure operation. Then the fifth one is concatenation operation. Concatenation operation. Then sixth one is reversal operation. Reversal operation. Next, the seventh one is homomorphism. Homomorphism operation. And then eighth one is inverse homomorphism. Inverse homomorphism. Okay, and then we have one more operation. Please let me check. So totally we have 9 operations. Difference. So difference. Okay, so the difference between two regular languages is also a regular language. Okay, so these are the various operations so that we are going to apply either on two regular languages or on a single language. Why? Because just now I told you that we are going to have two different types of operators, like a binary operators and unary operators. Now let's see what are the various binary operators we have. As you know that as I want to perform the union operation, definitely I require two operands. I require two operands. As I require two operands, now I can say that this is a binary operation or binary operator. And for intersection also, I require two operands. So this is also a binary operator. Intersection is also a binary operator. Then what about the complement? So how many things we require? How many operands we require? So for example, let us observe that if I am having some language called L of R, now if I want to find out the complement of this language, in the sense, just I require L of R. That is, one operand is enough. As one operand is enough, now I can say that, so this operator is a unary operator. In the same manner, what about the clean closure star operation? Star operation. That is, if I am having some language called L of R, then it's a star, which is nothing but the closure operation, is also going to be a regular language. So from this we can say that as we have only one operand, so it is also a unary operation. For doing concatenation, we require two operands. So it is also binary. But what about reversal? How do you represent a reversal? Let us observe that. Let we have some language called L of R is a regular language. Now, how do you represent the reverse of a given language? So this can be represented something like this. So L of R whole power R, which is nothing but the reverse of the given regular language L of R. Okay. Now, as we have only one operation involved, so this is the unary operation. And this homomorphism and inverse homomorphism are also unary operations, but the difference is going to be a binary operation. Okay. The only point which I want to focus on over here is, so just remember that, so the closure property says that if you are having a few regular languages or some regular languages with you, now when you apply some operation, so what are those operations? So these are the operations. Okay, these are the operations. So when you apply some operations among those languages, then whatever the result which we are going to get by applying the operations, that language is also going to be a regular language. So this is what this closure property says. Okay, are you able to understand? So this is what we mean by the closure properties are. Now we try to apply these properties one by one. So as a first step, so here we try to look into three operations. The first one, union operation, then the second one, intersection operation, then the third one we try to look at a complement operation. Okay, so these are the three operations we look into it. So we have a theorem also. I will discuss about theorem part also, but before going to discuss about the theorem, let us first try to find out the union of two regular languages, intersection of two regular languages, and complement of a given regular language. First we try to practice with the help of some example, then we go for explaining about the theorem. Okay, so let me copy the transition diagrams first. Please let us take some time for copying this. Okay, so this is our first finite automata, and this is our second finite automata. Okay. Okay, let me share the screen now. Now please observe. So here you can see that we have two finite automata. You can see here, this is the first DFA and this is the second DFA. So this is the first DFA, and this is the second DFA. Now let us observe that. So this is a DFA which is accepting some language R, and this is the DFA which is accepting some language S. Okay, so let us observe that this is the DFA which is accepting some language called R, and this is going to accept some language called S. Now what we have to do here is, now we need to do the union of these two finite automatas. Okay, so how do we do the union of these two finite automatas? The idea is very simple. Just have a look at this. So first we try to implement the union operation. Okay, we try to perform the union operation. So whenever you look into any finite automata, you know that we are going to have 5 tuples. What are those? Q, sigma, delta, and then Q naught is the initial state and F is the final state. Yes or no? Now what actually we have to do here is, now as we are doing the union operation, now whatever the set of states we are going to get, Q will be the cross product of, please try to remember, Q will be the cross product of the set of states available in first finite automata. I am calling it like Q1. I am calling it like Q1, and the set of states available in the second finite automata. Okay, so please try to understand. So what is this? Q is nothing but Q represents the set of states which are available in the given DFA, which we get as a result of a union operation. Then what about this Q1? Q1 is nothing but the set of states available in our first finite automata. And what is this Q2? Q2 is nothing but the set of states available in our second finite automata. Okay. Now, what about the set of states? Now it will result in R. First one is equal to, what are the set of states available in the first finite automata? We have P comma Q. We have P comma Q into cross product. What are the set of states available in second finite automata? R comma S. Okay, R comma S. Now, what we have to do? We need to do the cross product. Once we do the cross product, the result will be like this. What are the result? The result is, so P cross product with the R. Now it will result in P comma R. P comma R. That is the first one. Then the second one is P comma S. P comma S. And the third one is Q comma R. Q comma R. And then Q comma S. Q comma S. Okay. So these are going to be the set of states. These are going to be the set of states which are going to be available in our resultant finite automata, which is nothing but the union of these two finite automatas. Okay, as we are doing the union of these two finite automatas, so we are going to find out what are the set of states available in our finite automata. For that, we are going to perform the union operation. Okay, now with this, what we have come for, we have identified what are the set of states. Then the second thing which we need to identify is, we need to identify what is the input alphabet. Input alphabet. What is the input alphabet? Input alphabet is nothing but sigma. Now here we are trying to find out this Q, sigma and all these things for our new finite automata, not for the already existing one. Now if you observe thoroughly, whether you take the first finite automata or whether you take the second finite automata, we have a common input symbols. What are those? 0, 1, 0, 1. In the sense, now whatever the input alphabet is there for the first finite automata or the second finite automata, it is also going to be finite automata resulting in for our resulting finite automata. So here also in the union finite automata is also going to have the same input symbols, which is nothing but 0, 1. Okay. So now with this, what we have finished so far, we have identified a Q, set of states we have identified, input alphabet we have identified. Now I will tell you about the transition functions, but before that we go for the third one. The third one is, let us go for initial state. So let us go for initial state. So what is the initial state? The idea is very simple. Initial state. Now here please try to understand. So in this case you have an initial state P, and in this case you have an initial state R. Okay. Now you came to know that individually you have P, you have R as the initial states. But you know that when you do the union of these two finite automatas, no way they are going to remain individually. So they will be remaining like the combinations like PR, PS, QR and QS. The only thing which we have to remember is, so what is the initial state in our first finite automata and what is the initial state in our second finite automata. So this combination is going to become like a initial state for our resulting finite automata. Okay. So what is the initial state in our first finite automata? It is P. And what is the initial state in our second finite automata? It is R. Now this combination, P comma R combination, Now it is going to become the initial state for our resulting finite automata. Okay, please try to understand. See here I am trying to find out the set of states and then input alphabet, initial state, final state, and as well as transitions. Now we are finding out for the resulting finite automata, because we need to prove that when we do the union on two different finite automatas, the result is also going to be the regular only. I mean, the result is also going to be regular. That is the reason why. So here we try to find out Q, input alphabet, and then initial state. Then go for the last one, which is nothing but final state. Now we need to look for final state. What is the final state here? Now you know that what is the final state in first finite automata? Please go through the diagram. What is the first final state in first finite automata? Which is nothing but Q. Which is nothing but Q. And then what is the final state in our second finite automata? Which is nothing but S. Which is nothing but S. Now as you are using the operation called union operation, please remember over here, this is very important. So what is the operation we are performing? The operation we are performing here is the union operation. Union in the sense either or. Either or. Either or in the sense, if you need to select, either or in the sense, you need to select out of this, please try to understand, out of this entire, okay, out of this entire set of states, out of this entire set of states, you need to select all those pair of states. Please try to understand, out of these all set of states, you need to select all those pair of states as a final states, if and only if there exists one of the state like a final state. For example, I can't take, you can see here, I can't take this PR like a final state. Why I can't take PR like final state? Because P is a non-final state and R is also a non-final state. Both are a non-final. So PR will not become a final state. Then what about P comma S? You can see here, P is a non-final state. That's okay. But what about S? S is a final state or not? Now you can see either or, either or. Now as P is not a final state, but S is a final state. Now what you can do? You can select this state like a final state. And then Q comma R. You can see here, Q is a final state, R is not the final state. Now what you can do now? You can also select this state like a final state. Then last one, Q comma S. You can see here, so Q is the final state and S is also a final state. So we don't have any problem at all. So we can go for selecting this state also like a final state. So from this, what I want to tell you is, so whenever you are going to select the final state for the union operation, please remember that either or both. You need to go for this option. Either or both, in the sense either first finite automata final state should be there, or second automata final state should be there, or both should be there. Then only you can select such type of states like a final state. Now what are the final states now for our example here? So the set of final state are P comma S, the first one, then second one Q comma R, then last one Q comma S. So these are the final states. Okay. Now so far what we have done here, so we have identified the set of states, we have identified the input alphabet, we have identified the initial state, and we have identified the final states also. The last thing which we have to do is we need to specify the transition function. Now in order to specify the transition function, now what I will do, it is better for me, I can go for drawing the diagram. So that it becomes very easy for you to understand. Okay. So let's go for drawing the diagram. So this is the first state, P comma R, and this is second one, P comma S, third one, Q comma R, and fourth one, Q comma S. Okay. So these are the 4 states. So out of these we have 3 final states. So that's the reason why I am going to make it this state also final. This is also final, and this is also going to be a final state. So 3 final states. You can see here, just now I told you these are going to be final states. Okay. And what is the initial state here? So this is our initial state. So the initial state for us is, this is the initial state. Okay. Now let me name for all these states now. Let me name all these. So this is going to be state something. This is going to be the state something like, let us assume PS state, for example. Then this is going to be initial state PR, and then this is going to be QR. This is going to be QR state, Q comma R, and then this is going to be QS state. This is going to be QS state. So these are the 4 different states. Now what we have to do now is, from this state PR, now we need to specify the transitions on input symbol 0 and input symbol 1. So how do you specify the transitions? That is the question over here. The idea is very simple, as we have already done that. So what is that is, please wait a second so that I can copy the transition function delta. You can see here, now we are going to do for delta of, what is the initial state? P comma R. Delta of P comma R on input symbol 0. On input symbol 0. Now how do you write this? It can be written as, so delta of, it can be written as delta of P comma, delta of P comma 0, P comma 0 union delta of R comma 0, R comma 0. Now what is the result here? What is P comma 0 and R comma 0? So I will, for that we need to look into the transition diagram, and then let us do that for this one also. So what is this? P comma R on 1. P comma R on 1. So P comma 1 on 1, R on 1. So we'll write this result also. Then next one. So now we finished for PR. Now we need to do for a PS. We have to do it for a PS. So P on 0, S on 0, PS. Okay. Then we need to do the same for next one. PS on 1. PS on 1. So P on 1 and then S on 1. Okay. So let's see what is the thing we have. Okay. So before going to fill, let's go ahead. So first what we have to do now, we need to find out for delta of P comma 0. What is P on 0? What is P on 0? You can look into the first transition diagram. The P on 0 will be Q. P on will be on Q. P on 0 will be Q. In the same manner, R on 0 will be R. Now we are going to get a combination of Q comma R. So the answer which we are going to get for this is Q comma R. Q comma R. Okay. Means from PR on 0, PR on 0, it goes to QR. It goes to QR. Okay. Then second one, what is this? P on 1 and as well as R on 1. What is P on 1? It goes to P. R on 1, it goes to S. In the sense, now we are going to get PS. We are going to get PS. So PR on 1, it goes to PS. PR on 1, it goes to PS. So let me write over here. So PR on 1 goes to PS. That is our next one. In the same manner, PS on 0, that is P on 0, S on 0. P on 0 goes to Q and S on 0 goes to S only. So PS on 0 will be QS. You can see here P on 0 will go to Q and S on 0 will go to S. So it will be QS. It will be QS. So now PS on 0 will be QS. It will be QS. Now I am writing over here. So PS on 0, it will be QS. Okay, then PS on 1. What is PS on 1? P on 1 will be P, S on 1 will be S. Now it will result on PS itself. So PS on 1 will be PS itself. PS on 1 will be PS itself. Now I am going to write here. Okay, so PS on S will be PS. Now you need to do the same for rest of the states. What are the other states remaining for which we need to define the transitions here? We need to define for QR and QS. Now you can go for QS. You can see here Q on 0 will be Q and S on 0 will be S, QS. In the same manner, Q on 1 will be Q, S on 1 will be S. So on 0, 1 for QS on 0, 1 for QS on 0, 1, it will remain on the same state. It will remain on same state. Then last one, QR. What is the QR? Q on 0 will be Q, R on 0 will be R, QR. Okay, so Q on 0 will be Q and R on 0 will be R, QR. So QR on 0 will be QR. Then what about QR on 1? Q on 1 will be Q, R on 1 will be S. Now it will go to QS. QR on 1, it will result in QS. Okay, now please observe, this is how we are going to do the union of two regular languages. Now when you do the union of these two regular languages, now whatever the result which we have got over here, this is also a regular language. Understand? So this is how you need to find out the union operation. Okay, and in the last class we discussed about one more way of doing the union also. What is that way? You can take this entire diagram and you can take this entire diagram also. So this way also you can do. This way also you can do. What is that? Let us observe, this is P and this is Q. This is P and this is Q, and this is R and this is S. This is S. Now we have P on 1 will be P itself. P on 1 will be P itself, and P on 0 it goes to Q. P on 0 it goes to Q, and Q on 0, 1 it will remain on same state. So it will remain on same state. Okay, so then R on 0 it will be same state. So this is R on 0, it will be same state. R on 1 it goes to S, and S on 0, 1 it will remain on same state. So individually these are the two finite automatons. Now when I do the union, now what I have to do now, I need to introduce a new initial state and I need to introduce a new final state. New initial state and a new final state. From the already existing final states, now I need to specify the epsilon transitions. I need to specify the epsilon transitions. You can see here, this is how we are going to specify. And from the new initial state to the already existing initial states, that is the old initial states of our finite automatas, now we need to specify the epsilon transitions. You can see here this one. Okay, now this is also going to be considered like a union of two finite automatas. Okay, now this is how we are going to do the union. Okay, the only thing we have to remember is when we do the union, so how you are going to identify the set of states. So for identifying the set of states, we need to do the cross product. And if you want to do the union, the input alphabet must be same. So that is the reason why we have the same input alphabet. Then what about the initial state? The initial states are nothing but the initial state of our first finite automata and the initial state of second finite automata is going to be our new initial state. And what about the final state, which is very important? As we are doing the union operation, we are going to get either or both. That is, if any one of the final state is available in the pair of states available, then we are going to consider all those pair of states like a final states. That is the reason why we are going to get the finite automata like this. And you know about the transition, how we are going to get the transition. Okay, so this is how we are going to perform the union operation. Okay, now when I want to do the intersection operation, when I want to do the intersection operation, for the intersection operation, everything is same. Everything is same. What are the things are same? So set of states is also same, input alphabet is also same, and initial state is also same, and the transition functions are also same. The transition function is also same, but the only thing which is going to differ is the final state. The only thing which is going to differ is the final state. Now I hope everybody is aware of the intersection operation. When we try to perform the intersection operation, what do you mean by intersection? Intersection is common in both. So now when we try to perform the intersection operation, now what this operation says that now we need to select only such type of states like a final state which is a final in first finite automata and as well as final in a second finite automata. That is, so in intersection we are going to select only such combinations which are common to both, Now have a look at this set of states. Now these are the four set of states are available. Out of these four set of states, can you tell me which pair of combinations of states can be act like a final state for our intersection operation? What is that? The thing is, now if you observe, PR by default it has been neglected. What about P and S? If you look into P and S, so P is a non-final state and S is a final state. Now there is a final state and non-final state combination, so this one will be rejected. And Q is a final state and R is a non-final state, so hence it will be rejected. Then what about QS? Yes, if you go for QS, yes, this is the state which is going to remain. That is, Q is a final state and S is a final state. Now these two, both of them are a final states. Now that is the reason why when we do the intersection, of these two finite automatas, our result will be consisting of something like this. Our result will look like this. So we don't have three final states right now. We will be having only one final state. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of these four, only one state will remain final, which is QS. What is this? I hope this is the state which we have made a final. Okay, now this is my initial state. Okay, then let me name all these states over here. Okay, let me name. So this is going to be the state PS, and then this is going to be the initial state. Please observe, everything is same, just like your union operation, everything is same. The only difference which you find is with the final state. So here it will be QR and then it will be QS. and the transitions are going to remain same. What are the transitions? So PR on 1, it goes to PS. PR on 1, it goes to PS. Okay, and then PR on 0, it goes to QR. PR on 0, it goes to QR. In the same manner, QR on 0, it remains on a same state, which is 0. In the same manner, PS on 1, PS on 1, it will remain on a same state, which is 1. And then PS on 0, it goes to QS. PS on 0, it goes to QS. And QR on 1, QR on 1, it goes to QS. And then last, QS on 0, 1, it will remain on the same state. It will remain on the same state. Okay, so now this is how we are going to find out the next operation, which is nothing but the intersection operation. Okay, so this is our resulting finite automata that we are going to get as a result of doing the intersection. Okay, so this is how we are going to find out the intersection. Okay, so that's the reason why if you are able to understand how we are doing the union operation, then it becomes very easy for us to find out the intersection operation also. Okay, then last one, which is a very simple operation, nothing I can do over here, which is nothing but complement operation. Complement operation. So what is this complement operation? Says that the idea is very simple. The idea is very simple. So what we have to do here is, I hope you people are aware of this complement very well. So here what we do as part of complement is, so make final states as a non-final. Please try to understand. We need to make the final states like non-final, and non-final states and non-final states to final states. That's it. We have to make the final states to the non-final states and non-final states to the final states. That's it. So if you are able to do that, that is what actually we refer the complement is. Okay, now let's have a look at some example. Let's go ahead and let us see. We try to find out the complement. Now we try to find out the complement for our first finite automata. That is, we try to find out the complement for this one. Okay, so let us take, we try to find out the complement for this finite automata. Okay, so we have two states. This is the first state and this is the second state. As you know that just now I told you, P is the initial state, as P is the initial state. So this is P, this is P, and this is Q. This is Q. So P and Q. So these are the two states. Now the thing which we have to remember is, as I am trying to find out the complement of this finite automata, what I have to do now, so whatever the final states are there, I have to make non-final. What are the final states are there? I have only one final state, which is Q. Now I need to make it like a non-final. Yes, I made it like a non-final. Then I have only one non-final state. Now I need to make it final. So now what I am doing, I am going to make P as a final state and Q as a non-final state. Then the transitions are going to remain as it is. That is, so P on 1 will be P itself, and then P on 0, you go to Q, and then Q on 0 and 1, it will remain on a same state. It will remain on the same state. Okay, so this is how we are going to find out the complement of a given finite automata. Now if you want to find out the complement for the second finite automata, yes, you can easily do that also. We try to remove this entire part. Okay, now we try to find out the complement for this one. Okay, so let us take this finite automata. We try to find out the complement. So what is that? So we have a first state, and we have a second state. We have two states are available. Now this is a non-final state in our original transition diagram. As we are trying to find out complement, so this non-final state is going to become a final state. This is going to become final state, and this is the final state, so hence it is going to become a non-final state, and the transitions will be same, that is r on 0 will be same r itself, and then r on 1 will be s, and then s on 0 comma 1, you are going to remain on the same state. You are going to remain on same state. So this is our r state, and this is our s state. This is our s state. Okay, so this is how we are going to find out the, so we are going to find out the complement of a given finite automata. Okay, now the reason for doing all these things is, so whatever the operation we have done so far, whatever the finite automata we got as a result, all these are going to be again regular only. Okay, so this is how we are going to say that whenever we apply certain operation between the regular languages, whatever the result which we are going to get is also going to be a regular language. Okay, now with let's just give 5 minutes of time. Within that, I am going to explain the theorems also. So what actually we try to do here is, just give me 1 minute of time. Okay, see, now what we try to do here is, let me copy this one. Just we try to increase the font 20, and let us observe that we have two finite automatas. We have two finite automatas. So what are those? So this is R and this is S. R and S. Now let me increase the font size. R and S. Okay, and the set of states available in R will be Q1, and as input alphabet is the same, so I am going to call it like sigma only. This is delta 1, and this is the initial state available in first finite automata, and this is the final state available in a first finite automata, and this is the initial state available in my second finite automata, and this is the transition function for my second finite automata, and this is the initial state of my second finite automata, and this is the final state in my second finite automata. Now what I have to do is, I need to find out m. What is this m? This m is nothing but r union s. We can also write like r plus s as part of our regular expressions. When you talk about regular expressions, we are going to use plus, but when you are talking about the regular languages, we are going to make use of union. Now what we have to find out, we need to find out what is q, sigma, delta, q naught and f. That is what I am going to write right now. So now this can be identified something like this. So how do you identify the q here? It is very easy, something like q1 cross product q2. When you do q1 cross product q2, automatically you will get the set of states in my new finite automata, and the sigma will be as it is. So you don't need to bother about this sigma. So this, whatever the sigma available for either first finite automata or second finite automata, that is the same, so no need to bother. Then what about the transition function delta? So this delta will be something like, it can be considered like, so q p comma q on a. So how do you write this p comma q on a? So this can be written something like this. So how it will be written? Let me write. So this can be written something like this. So the first one will be delta 1 of, it will be delta 1 of p comma a, delta 1 of p comma a union delta 1 of P comma A union. Then we are going to do delta 2 of Q comma A. That's it. Delta 2 of Q comma A. Now this is going to be our transition function. And here we need to specify what all these things are. For all P belongs to, for all small p. Small p belongs to what? So here, let me copy that belongs to symbol also. Okay, so for all P belongs to, what this P belongs to? This P belongs to, P or P is nothing but what? The set of states of a first finite automata. What are those first finite automata set of states? Q1. Okay, Q1, comma, and what about Q belongs to? Q belongs to the set of states. Q belongs to the set of states that belongs to our second finite automata. What is our second finite automata? Q2. Okay, and what about the small a? This small a belongs to the input alphabet sigma. Small a belongs to input alphabet sigma. Okay, so this is what we have to remember, right? Now once it has been done, now we have specified the transition function also. Then what about our initial state Q naught? The initial state of Q naught will be something like, what is that? Q1 comma Q2. And you know that what is that Q1 comma Q2 is, where Q1 belongs to what? So you know that Q1 belongs to the first finite automata and Q2 belongs to the second finite automata. So Q1 belongs to first finite automata and Q1 belongs to second finite automata. That is the initial state of first finite automata and the initial state of second finite automata is going to be our result. And then F. What is our F? F will be, again I am going to take R comma S. F will be R comma S. Where what is this R comma S? So where R comma S will be something like R belongs to, I hope I already told you what this R comma S is. So you know that R belongs to what? The set of final states of F1 and S belongs to set of final states of F2 are both. Okay, so this is how we are going to find out the operation called. So all these steps are for a union. So all these are for a union. Okay, now we need to do the same for a intersection also. So we need to do the intersection also. So how do we do the intersection? For intersection also everything is same. For intersection also everything is same. The only difference which we found is, so here we need to specify this one like either or both, and here we need to specify R comma S, where this one, what is that? R belongs to what? R belongs to F1. So where R belongs to F1, because it is the first final state in our finite automata, and S belongs to F2. S belongs to F2, and very important, and S and this F1 intersection F2, F1 intersection F2 should not be equivalent to 5. Should not be equivalent to 5. So I will write that one. F1 intersection F2 should not be equivalent to 5. So such type of states we are going to select like a final state. Then last one, everything is same. When I want to do the complement, when I want to do the complement, so everything is same. What are the things are same? So we are going to have same Q, we'll be having same Q, we'll be having same sigma, we'll be having same sigma, and we'll be having the same delta epsilon transition, and we'll be having a same Q naught, which is the initial state, but the only change which we find is a final state, which is nothing but Q minus F. Q minus F, in the sense whatever the final states are there earlier, now they are no more final states, and whatever the non-final states are there, now they are going to become the final states. Okay, so this is how we are going to apply three different operations, that is union operation, intersection operation, and as well as the complement operation, as part of the closure properties on the regular languages. Okay.